Yes guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Welcome back to 3 things we learned from the game against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, let me start by saying I'm still enjoying. It feels so good when your team wins, especially if you're a Chelsea fan. Because as you know, we are one of the most, might I say, we are the most hated club in the world. Everyone wants to talk about Chelsea. If we do something nice, people want to just disregard it. If we do anything that, in regards to our business, people are always in our businesses, right? Nothing good Chelsea will do that people give us credit for. So I love it, man, when we can shut people off. And I was in the media recently and I could see that people already starting to change their mind. It's like, man, if you think Chelsea are not doing good or they will never succeed with this new ownership that we have, like you've been saying, the way we treat players, the way we're buying players, the way we're selling players, just keep the same energy when we start winning. Now, I'm not going to get over my head and say, listen, we have turned the corner. We haven't turned the corner, but it's a sign to a success. It might be this season, it might be next season, it might be in 3 years, but there's definitely a plan there. If you ask me for my personal opinion, right, I would say it might be this season. You never know. As much as or as long as we can keep our players fit, it might actually come as early as people might actually think. Now, let's jump into the 3 things we learned. And my first point is going to be the obvious one, right? I think when we played against Manchester City, the opening of our season, so many fans, including myself, we were crying. We were crying about Cole Palmer being played as a winger, as a 7. I think we all know, even from the Pochettino era, that Cole Palmer was way better. Oh, forgive me for the car, Anyway, Cole Palmer was better off being played as a 10. He can play as a 7. He can play as 11. He can even play as a 9. But we all want to see him being played as a 10 because like we said in the previous video, he's a creator and that's what he's good at. And you're never gonna have a bad game from Cole Palmer, especially if you put him as a 10. So that's our main point. It was good to see yesterday that, Enzo Maresca realized that actually when he was giving his post-match interview, he said, I've known Cole Palmer from Manchester City. I've worked with him from the under-23. I've worked with him from the first team. So I don't know why he was trying to experiment that, when we played Man City, because I was expecting for Madueke to be on that right side and Cole Palmer as a 10. But you know what? We move. But that was the main point I wanted to touch base on, to say, listen, from now on, just keep Cole Palmer as a 10. If you want to move him for some other reasons, maybe because we also have players like Christopher Nkunku who can play as a 10, but preferably we would want Cole Palmer to be our 10 going forward. Now, my second point is going to lead me into my third point, which is our midfield. Like, I wasn't happy with our first half when it comes to the midfield. We were getting run through, I don't know, it was so easy. It was so easy for the oppositions, the way they were running through Enzo and Caicedo. They were having a terrible game. They were having a bad game. But then come second half, they started doing well. Even when Caicedo went out, Dewsbury Hall came on, Enzo Fernandez kept on, doing what he was doing at the beginning of the first half, which was getting in behind, getting all those balls. He was starting to make some tackles, even if you look at the third goal that Madueke scored, he was part of it because he took the ball from the opposition, and then obviously we know he's good at his passing, and then he put it through to Madueke. No, he put it through, I think, to Cole Palmer, and then he went to Madueke. So it was nice to see the improvement, which this is not part of my main points, but I also want to touch base on, I believe the halftime talk really made the difference, because the team came out as a new team. It came out as a new team, which was nice to see that, Enzo Maresca is actually good at in-game management, because if we had come out the way we finished the first half, it was going to be a horror show. And we were going to be lucky to come out there with a win like we did. So it was nice to see the adjustment which he did at halftime, taking Modric off, putting Pedro Neto, and the tweakings that he did in the midfield as well with Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. Now, like I said, this was going to lead me into my third point, which was our defense. Listen, of course, our defense, when it comes to the fullbacks, I think we're set, because Cucurella was good. He's being good. We know his quality. Malo Gusto, he was alright, not at his best, because there were some balls that he couldn't just put it through to the cross into the box. We normally know him to have done better. It's like the Reece James. They know, when you expect them to put the ball into the box, they can do so much well. But yesterday he was a little off, but again, he didn't have a bad game. He just wasn't to his standard that we know him to be. But it wasn't like he was bad. So our fullbacks, we're kind of set. The only concern is the center backs. You look at Tosin, Fofana, Kobe, Badiashile. It's really hard to pick the set. It's really hard to pick your two center forward. Center backs. It's really hard because there's no consistency there, and there were also injuries from players like Badiashile and Fofana. So you don't know whether you're gonna play them 80, 60, 70 minutes, whatever. You got players like Fofana. He came back from a 1-year injury, so you're not really expecting him to be at his best. At the same time as well, you've got Tosin. He just came from Fulham. You also don't expect him from be at his best. But overall, I think, of course, they made mistakes, but part of it was also our midfield, because for your defenders to actually defend well, to some degree, you need your midfielders to also help them. That's why we always have a D-link, a double pivot, to try and make sure that we protect our defenders. So if our midfielder is going to go ahead and be as functional as they were in the second half, it will help our defenders, to make less mistakes. Obviously, we need to improve in set pieces and area duels. We need to win those balls, I don't know why our midfielders, I'm talking about Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo, I don't know why they were scared to tackle. Just go on the ground and tackle someone, get a ball. Obviously don't be erratic and then get a yellow card or a red card, but sometimes take the yellow card for the team. And I remember the Kovacic goal. I don't know whether they thought we already lost, but they could have tackled Kovacic. He had so much space to just run through them. So I'm really urging our defenders, our midfielders, even our defenders, don't be scared to be on the ground. Take your man off, take your man on. So we need to improve on our midfielder, which again, will help the defense. At the same time, like I said, we don't want to see Cole Palmer being played in the wings. He's a 10. He's better off as a 10. If he has to go there, he can go there, but as per his choice. But in terms of in-game play, we want to see him in the middle. And then one more thing I want to talk about is the idea that we are not playing negative football anymore. I remember yesterday we were leading 4-2, and I could see the coach on the touchline just screaming at the players to keep going. Even the substitute that he put in, he didn't put substitute to defend. He put substitute to make sure we get more goals. Like I always say on this channel, goals wins you games. If you want to win games, you have to have goals. Even if you end up conceding, you concede 2, you score 4. You concede 6, you score 8. Because at the end of the day, clean sheets is not what makes you win games. It's goals. Teams like Man City, they always concede, but they score goals. You got the Haaland, the De Bruyne, they score goals. So it was nice to see that he wasn't satisfied by leading by 2. He wanted to lead by more, which, he was screaming at the players to say, keep going, keep scoring more. Because I remember during Pochettino's time, we were leading in some games just 1-0. Just 1-0 in 70 minutes. And then Pochettino started putting defenders in to just let go of the possession and just start defending. And then at the end of the day, in most cases, we ended up just conceding a goal in 90 minutes, which was too late. That's why last season, most of our games, we didn't lose, but we drew because we were playing negative football. Every time we go ahead, we thought about defending. It's like when you go ahead, keep going. Like when you score a goal, keep scoring more goals. Don't just say, okay, we're going to give you possession and we're going to sit back, because that's a recipe for disaster. Yeah, man, these are the points that I had today. Hopefully